What's going on? This is Meyer, your host, once again, episode 7. Today, I got with me Mr. Rob. I might also almost call you my dad, man, because we've been sitting here already having a conversation. I've already gained so much. It's always good having another father on here. For you're more of a veteran father. Not only a veteran father, but also a real veteran, too.
Yeah.
So thank you, first of all, for even being here and just taking the time to have a conversation with me and the audience. And we're going to have more of a discussion than anything. I know I have a couple of interview questions. I put a few things on my phone, but like I said, we've been sitting here for a couple of minutes already getting to know each other, and I am extremely happy about what this conversation is going to bring today. So you're from North Carolina. I'm from North Carolina. You're in the military, Navy. I'm in Navy right now. So could you give me a little bit more of an introduction of who you are, what you've done, and just your family?
All right. I'm a good old country boy from North Carolina.
There we go.
I like being barefooted for sure. So I left North Carolina in 1989, like I told you earlier, with the intentions of not going back.
Okay.
Not hating on North Carolina, but
North Carolina good stuff.
Yeah. So I joined the Navy then, went to California, came back to Virginia, spent some time overseas. Long story short, got hurt, stayed here, right? So I'm a medical disabled vet.
Okay.
I'm medical. I have one biological daughter.
Okay.
I have 3 foster kids at the house now.
Beautiful.
And didn't expect to have 3.
That's what they always say.
But it worked out that way. And that's been a challenge. I got into real estate 2005.
Okay.
When the market was really easy. You didn't have to know anything but how to write your name.
That's kind of like right now, or at least maybe a year or two. It's easier.
So it's crazy now. But so I been doing it since then. Started my own firm in 2019. And still surviving.
Good.
Yeah, that's me in a nutshell right now. I'm a church boy from Carolina. I didn't really include
that. Is a characteristic for some people who don't know.
Church and North Carolina just go hand. It's in the same bowl.
Yes, sir.
It's like soup. You can't get
it out.
You can't get it out. So for sure. Yeah, that's me, man.
Yeah, even me now, I went to church this morning and I still feel a little bit of that old North Carolina in me. Every time the pastor say something, I just want to scream out, come on. Come on. I can just hear the deacon from the corner just, come on, pastor. Yeah, some people don't know. That's a good time, though. I had a lot of good times in church as a kid.
Yeah, man.
My best friend. A lot of best friends out in church. But you talked a little bit about you have a biological daughter.
Yeah.
How old is she?
She's 25.
Okay.
My mini me. She, when I started doing real estate, she was 6. No, she was younger. She was probably 4.
Oh, wow.
4 going on 5. And this chick, I would take her with me. I'm going to show houses in the hood, in the projects. And I'm like, baby, you step where I step.
And y'all was in North Carolina then?
Or we're here.
Oh.
Prentice Park.
Okay, so she was learning.
I'm like, you step where I step. Until this day, if she walked behind me, she walked where I walk.
There we go.
So she did it all so often. So
paying attention.
So that's the thing about parenting, man. That's the goal, right?
They follow everything.
They follow everything. It's all about. It's not all about, but it's constant. What's the word I'm looking for? Unintentional teaching.
I think we do that.
Unintentional teaching. You just doing your thing. The way you hold your fork, the way you cut your steak, the way you chew your food, and wipe your mouth.
They'll catch on.
They're catching on.
It's crazy. Sometimes even now, having 2 boys, and I'll get ready to get mad. I'm like, why are you doing that? And then my wife will look at me like, you do that. That's the reason why they do that. That's why they blowing their nose like that. Leaving, like my biggest thing, my wife hated I do. I leave my socks everywhere. Like you say, country boy from North Carolina.
Yeah.
I like just being barefoot.
All the time.
So as soon as I get my shoes off, guess what's coming right after that?
Yeah.
Them socks. And it could be anywhere. So now both my boys leave their socks everywhere. Yesterday she was cleaning the playroom that's in the garage. She found about like maybe 12, 13 silence from the kids. They running around, and we got a wooden playground in there, and they'll get to slipping, so they just flip them bad boys.
That's it, man. That's it.
So your foster kids, how old are they?
4, 11, and 16.
Are they related?
Yes, they're brothers.
Wow. So all boys.
All boys.
4, 11, and 16.
Yeah. The youngest he was buck wild. We call him he was a feral cat.
Okay.
Little feral cat who was a gangster.
Okay. This is a 4-year-old.
4-year-old. This dude used wake up in the morning, go to the fridge at 3:00 in the morning.
Man, that sounds like my 2-year-old.
This don't sound your 2-year-old. He opened the fridge and like, where the beer at? You ain't got no beer.
Oh no, I'm still looking for apples.
So yes, but he's great. He's great. He's since he's been with us and he's a stable, whole new kid, 11-year-old. Love that kid. He's more like me mentally, where he's just strong-minded and want to know why.
Yeah.
You say, hey, go put your socks away. Why?
Yeah.
He wants to know why.
You understand? They're just trying to get a perspective.
I can appreciate the thinking. However, it kind of makes my blood boil a little bit. Yeah. The 16-year-old man, he's great.
Awesome.
He's been like, he's been parentalized. So he's the kid who had to be a dad when he shouldn't have been a dad.
Yes.
I think it's called parentalized or parental, whatever it is. Whatever that word is, he was a dad and then he shouldn't have been a dad.
To his
younger brothers, which was 4 of them, 4 of the brothers. But we got 2 of them.
And I'm pretty sure he probably illustrated a lot of unintentional teaching.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they're going to also, and I tell my oldest son right now too, especially when I'm not around, my youngest, or the middle one now, because I have a 5-year-old, 2-year-old, and a set of twins, 6 months. He's going to do everything you do.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
Yeah.
And I got to remember that he's doing everything that I do. The issue is that he shouldn't have to bear the same responsibilities for when he's doing something wrong just because he follow him.
Yeah.
So sometimes I might see him doing something wrong, or maybe he's like messing with the twins, trying to pick him up, do all these different things, and I'm looking at him like, come on, man, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this and that? But I got to remember, it's my responsibility. I'm supposed to be watching him, and he shouldn't be having to take on that burden as the father. So I can only imagine what the 16-year-old would be feeling.
Yeah.
Being placed in that position. So how did you get into foster care?
When the laws were changed about abortion, I saw a thing like, well, this is going to open the gates wide open, man. So if women can't have the right to choose,
right,
whatever their situation is, right, man, we don't really have the right to say you're going to have this child. Not in my opinion.
Right.
My opinion. If you're forcing women to have babies, the number of kids in the system is going to it's going to skyrocket.
Yes, that's true.
Right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, well, let's go ahead and get certified and see where that goes. And when we got certified, we did what they call a respite, which is you take somebody else's kid who's in foster care for the weekend or whatever. We did that, and then this situation popped up, which is an unusual situation. And we just opened our hearts and said, you know what, let's just rock it out and see what happens. And at this point, it's been 3 or 4 months, and we're like totally committed.
Right.
So whatever the situation is, I mean, all the kids have some issues. So for the 2 oldest have issues with school or whatever. We just like, let's figure it out. Let's just figure it out.
That is a beautiful approach.
Yeah.
To something that could be extremely controversial. I think sometimes people want to take their opinion and kind of push it forward without giving a solution, no matter what side that you're on. And I think that is a very responsible and a beautiful approach for y'all to both sit down and say, like, let's do that. So
it's like I try to tell the middle child, the middle child's always the issues, right?
Yeah. Oh, you ain't gonna tell me.
I'm like, if you're gonna bring attention to to a situation, you need to bring a solution.
Every single time.
And if you can't, don't say anything.
Yep. And I tell my mentees, don't ask a question you're not ready to hear the answer.
Exact same mindset.
So it's like you're gonna step into something, you kind of got to be prepared.
Yeah.
What do you feel like you were prepared as a father to bring in not only more kids but more boys, or bring in boys for the first time too? Because you have
That's a good question, bro. And I say bro because the kids rub off on me.
yeah, good. Learning both ways. They unintentionally teaching you.
For sure. I don't know. Man. That's a good question, bro. I think I was mentally prepared for anything. I'm a military guy.
Yeah.
You know, you just like you adapt, you maneuver, you adjust.
Yes.
Right. The wife, on the other hand, she had more of a struggle. I think. I take everything as a learning lesson, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay, with this situation, there's days I'm like, we didn't sign up for this right here.
Yeah.
This is a little more than we signed up for.
You couldn't expect it to happen.
Yeah, but then it's like, okay, so what's the takeaway? What's the learning lesson? How can I do this different for the next time? Mm-hmm. You know, so I was telling the case manager, I'm like, this middle kid, this brother teaching me every day, and I hate it. Mm. He's teaching me patience.
Yeah.
He's teaching me empathy. Mm. I mean, it's like, dude, I want to choke you out every day, man. Why do I want to choke you out every day? And then I had to examine myself. So what is it about him that I see that is really a part of me? Mm. I was a hard-headed kid. I was straight hard-headed, bro. I was a bad kid, right? So when I see this dude doing stuff I was getting in trouble for, it's like, there it is. That was me. That was me. And it just eats me up, man. I'm like, what the, I want to choke him out.
You don't even know what to do with it. And it might be partly because you might have moved away from that.
Well,
or maybe taught yourself.
Well, so now I'm older, and of course, what I did as a kid was stupid, right? So seeing him doing stupid things, right, or illogical things, it's like, bro, can't you see? We had this discussion today. I'm like, bro, your biggest issue, you don't listen. That's your biggest issue. You just don't listen. We have the same conversation every day. You do not listen, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, how's that working for you? Well, it ain't working well. Okay, so can we change it up? You know what I'm saying?
Let's do something.
So but to have the conversation with him about the behavior and then the solution is something I didn't get. I got, go give me a switch. You know what I'm saying?
You really actually going to be three of them, braid them together.
Yeah, and then it's like, don't bring me those small switch back.
Because that's going to get you worse.
So then they got to go get it. So I learned from a young age, man, you make, after you make a few poor decisions, you start making better decisions. Even though you're doing something wrong, you do that wrong better than the first time, so you don't get caught. You know what I'm saying?
You got to learn how to hide something or change it around. The girls are a little bit smarter than us. They usually only got to do it once, and either they learn or they learn a way that you just don't find out again.
Exactly.
The boys, I don't know if it's because we're looking for some type of independence or what have you. It's just sometimes we just got to bump our head a couple more times.
I think it's independence. I think it's, I believe, I'm not a psychologist or anything like that, but I believe we're all born leaders, right? And if you're born a leader, you hate instruction. You just initially go pick your shoes. Why? I don't want to pick my shoe. My shoe's fine right there. They ain't hurting nobody. Right. And I think the systems of the world, I'm trying to phrase this right. The systems of the world train us to be obedient listeners, obeyers. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So in doing that, because I had to learn, my mom beat my iron bars, so I had to learn to be obedient. And then being in the military, you have to learn to follow instructions.
Absolutely.
And then you're raising a kid, you automatically feel like if I'm telling you this, because I don't have authority, you go do this. And then you have a bashing of the heads and you know and turn on the house. And really, it could be, hey, go pick your room up, and you tell them for the second, third time. Then it's like, let's sit down and talk about this. I need to explain to you
because
why
something's not clicking.
Yeah, because the thing is, the first click is, I'm a leader. I don't want to.
There we go. Because I don't see the same way you see it.
Exactly. So now I got to give you a different perspective of why. I use this one, and this is, some kids don't really get this. I'm like, okay, you got your shoes all over the floor, man. I said, what if the house catches on fire? You trying to get out of the house. You trying to get out of the house, and you got shoes all over the place, and you running and falling, and you get stuck in the house because you fell and you missed the opportunity to get out of the house. That's simple enough. That's a good enough reason to put your shoes underneath your bed or whatever the place your shoes supposed to belong. Have your floor clean, bro. You know, and they don't get that unless we explain in their language, not ours. Because when we give our perspective, it's ours.
And because we already experienced it.
We already experienced it.
And it's hard to remember sometimes that the kids
have no idea.
Children have no idea. They have not experienced it. So, I mean, for one thing, you understand sometimes you may say a bigger word or a word they're not understanding or something. So you got to go back over that. But then when you're also telling them something, it could be frustrating when they just don't do exactly what you say.
Yeah.
And they want to question you and challenge you. And I don't know if it's a part of gentle parenting or whatever. I'm not too keen on what those techniques may look like, but I'm trying to do a better job at explaining to my kids what it is that they're doing and why they're doing it. It's just not always easy to do. Because sometimes you think you need things done in a timely manner as well. And I feel like my son's always moving slow. But when I'm telling him something, sometimes you could just stop and see his gears turning in his head a little bit. And I have to remember, if I do this, if I sit and explain to him the reason why I'm doing that it's not going to only do something for him now because he's going to do what I just told him to do, but what is it going to create in him later down the road? When he gets older. Right. Because I know for my parents, anything they said, it was going to be yes, ma'am, yes, sir. And it was going to get done
quickly.
Right then and there.
Quickly.
You ain't got to say it twice. Because if you say it twice, you already in trouble. And if mama got to come down there and show you or go get it, you in even more trouble. It don't matter.
You're going to pay for it. Yeah.
And I think I can even see my mom now, my parents now, like watching us parent our kids.
Yep.
And if my son were to say why or something back, I could see my mom just, she get ready real quick. Yeah. And she wants to see the way that I respond. And knowing that it's different, I kind of wonder, what my mom thinks of that now. And I never had that conversation with her.
They see the errors. I say most parents see their errors, and here's the strange thing: most parents don't even remember half the stuff they did. I mean, I would say 80% of what they did when it came to discipline. Because like my high part, bro, I tell you, between second grade and sixth grade, dang near every day, I was that kid, right? Yeah. Dang near every day. She don't recall that.
Why is it? I've heard that so many times, and even my mom, I don't think she recalls half that.
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
It might make a little bit more sense now because there weren't many courses, right, that you're gonna take. It just becomes a course of life when you have kids, especially as a father. Nobody's naturally just telling you this is what you do, what you should do. So the way that you're disciplining and the way that you're raising your kids become reactionary. It becomes trial and error as you're learning it, especially for the first time. And the only real skills you have is whatever your parents did for you, and maybe however you think is appropriate based on your lifestyle.
So here's a funny thing. I was talking about this 2 days ago. I have 3 other siblings. My older brother's dead. So I have an older sister and 2 other sisters, Jackie and Tammy. I'm the youngest. We're all raised in the same household, same parents, same instruction, right? But the way we raise our kids, totally different.
All 3 of you?
All 3 of us. Because it goes back to perspective, the way they saw and the way I saw, right? So my oldest, in my opinion, spoiled their kids. And this is my opinion. Jack, if you hear this, don't kill me. In my opinion, because she felt like, she was older, she got, in my opinion, got most of the attention. Right? She felt like she didn't get enough. So when she had kids, she gave them everything.
Wow.
Right?
The middle right now. Just keep going, but I'm feeling right now.
So the middle kid, which is Tammy, the second oldest, she was the black sheep because she was just like my dad. They butt heads all the time. But she raised her kids, in my opinion, more as a friend. So when they got teenage, whatever, they start doing things. I thought it was like
building a relationship.
Yeah, it was like to me, you going out together. So I'm like, what? But and then me had my hind parts beat all the time, and what I'm saying. I was more structured and more stern, right? That give my kid love, all this good stuff. She loves me to death, right? Definitely a daddy's girl. However, she know when I said, "Hey," when I raised my voice.
That's a daddy superpower.
Oh, man. So we all had, again, different perspectives. So it's just strange. Same parents, same household, same instruction, same rules.
Right.
Different outcome when it came to raising our own kids. So the funny thing is, having come from the same background, parents, we don't have a book. There's not a one-on-one class. There's nothing other than what you came from.
Right.
Plus your perspective.
Yes.
Plus the option to follow suit or change course.
Wow.
That's where it gets tricky, because you can come up in a great household where everything was perfect. And then choose to be an alcoholic parent who beats the hell out of their kids.
Right. It's hard, I think, and can be challenging to come up with the idea to actually change course, too.
Yeah.
Because you're going in uncharted territory.
Yeah, it's all new.
And a lot of times, like even, it's four of us. I'm the oldest. There was a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
Even between, my parents. And as a leader, you learn in the military too, you take some of the good and you take some of the bad and you kind of create what it is. But then when you look at yourself, if you're happy with what you are and if you're successful, you got to ask yourself, like, how much of this formula can I change? Because if I were to change the formula, then I am now in charge for what it is that I'm making, the child that I'm making. And if this happens wrong, do I say that it's my fault? Is it the environment? Like, is it something that I did? Understanding that time and the space that those kids are in is still different than you, but it's challenging even for me. It's hard.
So I'm gonna tell you a personal story, right? My dad, who raised me, was my biological father. Didn't find out until I was 16.
Okay.
Right? I knew my biological father all my whole life. Right? But I was 28-ish before I realized I was bitter at my dad who raised me. Right? I was bitter because let me tell you how I found out.
Okay.
I went to a men's conference one weekend. And of course, it was men. They talking about fathers and all this other stuff. The speaker at the time, he handed out this piece of paper, and the paper had positive words and negative words, right? He asked the question. Circle every positive word that represents your father. The only word I could put down a circle was present. Not encouraging, not loving, not present. My brother was present, 100% present. And I got stuck on that, right? The rest of the seminar, I missed it because I'm stuck.
Right.
Right? I'm like, man, He never came. I played basketball from third grade. I never came to a game. Played football. Never came to a game. He came to one football game a lot. Mm-hmm. I never got that hug I need. I never got that pat on the back. You know,
Right.
I was pissed. Never knew it. So and I'm saying all this because when I raised my daughter, right, when I was having a daughter or a kid in general, I said it out loud. I'm gonna show my dad how to be a dad.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So good because I raised my daughter in a certain way and I raised her where I thought a kid would need, right? But at the same time, my heart was jacked up, right? So she's now probably 9, 10 at the time, and I'm realizing, oh my God, I've done this all out of the wrong intentions, man, even though it was good. But my point is this, making that change, man, like my dad wasn't present. So he was present, but he wasn't everything I needed.
Right.
So what I do, I looked at my neighbor, had a great dad. I watched him.
Right.
How do you do da-da-da? My biological father, who I didn't know who was my biological father at the time, he was a sharp dresser, bro. The way I'm sitting, he sat this way. Right?
I learned that from the barbershop. Clean barbershop sit like that.
This dude, man, he'd come in church, he was telling him he was a trustee or deacon or something like that. He would come in, make sure the palace was straight. He's on the front pew. He would cross his leg, always tight. The man made his own suits, right? He was a tight dude, and I'm like, I just watched him. Like, okay, that's how you flow. I picked everything. His mannerisms, I learned from him. My dad never passed me a basketball, never. The neighbor's dad did though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I learned how to play ball at the neighbor's house. And I was good. I learned to play football at somebody else's house.
Right.
So I think as a teenager growing up or a kid growing up that does not have what they need to search outside of the circle. As a young father, it's the same way. If you came from a not so wholesome background, you got to look elsewhere for models to figure out, well, Mr. Johnson, he doesn't hit his kids. He doesn't fuss at his kids. He talks to them. My dad beat the hell out of me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which one makes more sense? You know, you just pick up bits and pieces and figure out, okay, this is my box.
Right.
And if I need to add another tool into my box, I'll go find it. And if this tool is not working, I'm gonna get rid of this one. You know what I'm saying? And then you become the father, the man you're supposed to be based on what you expose yourself to and who you expose yourself to. That makes sense?
You blow my mind right now. But it's because it makes so much sense. As I'm trying to understand the type of father that I am and the type of father that I want to become and continue to grow, I'm thinking about that box. Like, where am I picking the stuff up from?
Yeah.
Sonia and I had a conversation about like TV dads and stuff that you learn from them.
Cosby.
But I also think about my father was pretty much the same way, and I don't know if it's the African culture to kind of just work, and you raise the kids by giving them things that they need, not necessarily that they want. And when I say need, it's food at the table, shelter over your head, and a way to make it out. But it was so much affection that I was missing. I saw that.
So I think because of, at least with my dad, the generation he came from, they didn't show love. There was no like, there was only work, right? You think about it. You coming out of sharecropper time frame, you worked, right? Because you're trying to make it. You're trying to survive, right? So the mentality is a man showed his love by providing, right? And then they never got the affection. They never got the attention. So how they don't have the skills to turn around and give you that, right? They don't have the skill set to say, hey, son, how was school today?
Yeah.
Just a basic question, how was school today? Wow. They don't have. So when I had to forgive my dad. Going back to this, right? That day, let me finish over. That day, they were saying you had to, if you can forgive your father, do it now. If he's here, da 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 da. Because a lot of the father, and my dad had been gone for like 5 years.
Right.
This older gentleman stood up and he said, God told him to stand in the gap for fathers that are missing. And dude, I was sobbing. I was sobbing, bro. I was sobbing. And when I went up there, man, in tears, and I was 28 years old, man, kind of like a little baby. I'm married, got a kid, got a house. I'm doing all the right things I'm supposed to do, and I'm broken, right? I go up to this dude, man, and he grabs me hard, bro. He grabs me really, really hard, and he said, I'm sorry. I did the best I could with what I knew. He said, all the things I need to hear, right? I sobbed. This dude sobbed, right? And we talked after the fact, right? Trying to find out, this guy never had a dad. He never had a dad, but he knew all the things to say that a dad would say. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm getting emotional now.
Yeah, me too.
So that moment taught me to look at my dad for the man he was. Imperfect, provider, present. That's all I knew how to do. Right? So it's like, okay, so the pat on the back I wanted, I'm still here, bro. The conversation about women, I'm still here. Everything I needed, I felt I needed. An emotion I probably did at the time, but I'm 52 years old now. I'm standing strong.
Yeah.
I raised a kid. I have 3 kids in my house. I ain't killed nobody yet. So, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, what I felt I needed, I probably didn't need, it didn't destroy me because I didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? It only made me stronger, only because my toolbox got heavy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm like, literally, I reached out. I'm like, you can have a mentor without them knowing you're a mentor.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So I would literally, man, I would be in church and watch. I would watch. Military, I would watch people. When I got older and went and get to a different church here in Hampton Roads, I would watch people. You just learn, man. I mean,
absolutely.
That's what life's about. And then even now, talking about the journey of fatherhood, the father I was when my daughter was a baby to preteen, different dad. Because there was a different need.
Right.
Right? 16, the graduation, I was working my hind parts off and I felt like I failed my daughter. Right? Because I wasn't there the way I needed to.
Well, at least the way you thought you needed to.
Yeah, I mean, I know I wasn't. Because I was in the hustle bustle game, trying to do all this other stuff, and and I think she suffered for that, right? I've actually apologized to her for it. But the dad I am now, my daughter never seen me have a drink until she was like 18.
Wow.
I wouldn't even drink in front of her. Never used a curse word in front of her. Now she's 25. Now the conversation is, hey, pass me a beer.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? But
it's
different now because I've already instilled in her all the things that to make her a whole person. Now what she does with it, I'm done.
No control over it.
I'm done now at this point. So now, when people say, I want to be my kid's friend, that's after you've been a parent.
I like the way you said it.
After you raise your kid, then you be their friend.
Can it be done at the same time?
I think it depends on the kid, but I don't think it'd be effective. Because a friend, it depends on how how much of a friend you want to be.
Okay.
So a true friend, if you walk into the house busted, your friend will say, "Hey, dog, you better change them pants, bro."
A true friend.
A
right?
true friend.
A true friend. Yeah.
If you're trying to be a buddy, they don't care. They're not gonna say anything.
And I think that's a lot what some parents mean sometimes when they say friends, because they want you to tell them stuff, right?
Yeah, they want you to be nice and cool, have a good relationship.
Happy moments to remember.
No.
And that's the friendly part of it, because a true friend will also keep you accountable.
Yeah.
Tell you when you're doing wrong.
Exactly.
That's
So
not the flowery parts of being a friend. So
yeah, and that's really parenthood.
that's parenthood.
So if you can be that true friend and a parent, hats off.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
And I think that you can still get those aspects of a friendship from just being that parent that is consistent about communicating, because then that's going to develop some type of trust where they're still going to be able to come to you and talk to you, have these conversations and stuff like that. And it might not happen all the times, because you got to remember that your child is still their own person. So you are two different people, and naturally, and they're like somebody else you went to school with, and y'all two aren't friends. It's a good chance that y'all two might not be friends.
Right.
They still have to respect you.
Right.
Expect what you do. Understand why you're doing what you're doing. But you can't go out and expect every single time, though, or every child that you have, you're going to be able to be buddy or friendly with.
And that's why children feel like there's a favorite in the house, right? It's not that there's a favorite. It's just a parent might get along with a child better than the others.
Easier to relate to.
Because the personalities or whatever, and the other kids feel left out. I feel like, oh, Sharon's a favorite because you always talking to her. Well, she's a chatty box and I chat too. You don't like to chat.
So I think I talked about this on episode 1 or 2 about my two oldest. I feel like sometimes I relate to my second a lot more, because I was I guess you call me the tough. I run into stuff, hit my head, and I get up, keep going and stuff. And my oldest is a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more. He can communicate his emotions and stuff a little bit more. And that wasn't something that was normal for me, especially even in the house. It was just, suck it up. We learned a lot of suck it up. You be all right, and this and that. And now, although I'm teaching him to be this way, I now don't know how to relate to it. I don't know what to do or say after that, so I'm still learning it.
Yeah.
But I never want him growing up to be like, Daddy was always closer to, or Daddy had a favor with this and that. And I also don't want to be afraid to have this conversation with him once he's able to understand it.
So my current wife, so I've been married before, my current wife, she'll say, I want to spend this day with this kid, to give that kid one-on-one time. We have our nephews at the house now, nephews and niece at the house now, and she'll dedicate, like, if they're over for the weekend, I'm taking them for 2 hours. One kid, 2 hours.
Right.
Don't bother us. Whatever. I'm dedicating 2 hours to this kid. She wants all of them to feel the same love.
Right.
So trying to do the same thing with your kids, might fill that void. Right. You know what I'm saying? The thing is trying to find something you can relate with the kid with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because some personalities just don't.
I read a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
Was it Dale Carnegie? And they talk about that.
Yeah.
And that's a great way. And being a leader, or just being able to communicate with people, you have to find what it is that you can relate.
Yeah.
And how you relate. And you use that. And
that one thing.
That one thing. It only has to be one. And it can create so much.
Yeah.
I want to keep that in mind. And as I'm having more kids and understanding, what this and that looks like, I want to also be able to look at them not only as my child, although they are my child, but look at them as a person that's going to be
individuals,
understanding and learning. So I want to talk a little bit about foster care too, because growing up, I've met older parents or older people that were friends of my mom and dad that were foster parents, and I've had friends who were in foster care. What do you think is the biggest misconception, or even misconception you might have had about foster care?
I went in totally open-minded. I know we have friends, my family has friends, and they're like, what are you thinking about? You 50-something years old, why are you putting a kid in your house? There's a need. right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people have the misconception that every child has an issue. They don't. They're just in a situation that they need a home, right? Are there a lot of stories where kids have major issues? Yes. A lot of those issues can be, again, my opinion, could have been avoided if the parenting was better. People don't understand. People don't understand. Like kids, even your kids, my kids, whatever, they respond to the parent, right? So if you're not that great of a parent for that particular kid, it's going to be an issue, right? So just thinking every kid has an issue. That's false. Thinking that they're going to take all your time. It depends on the kid, right? They take all the time. We have 3, so it's a lot of time.
Absolutely, that's
right?
You talking? You got teenage down to 4. That's a big spectrum.
Yeah, so that takes a lot of time, but I think the reward outweighs any negatives. Seeing a kid literally change, in a matter of weeks, does something to your heart. It's kind of the mindset of teachers, coaches. You know that teaching is about Johnny figuring out 2 + 2. When the light comes on for Johnny, it makes your whole year.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that kid, boy, I thought he was dumb as rocks, but he got it. Johnny got it. And then, so to take a foster kid in and see him go from stray cat, little gangster, to thank you very much. Can I have a banana, please?
Right here.
Yeah, it hits the heart. I mean, and so waking up and seeing this kid's face in the morning and giving you a hug and expecting that, giving you love that he should be giving somebody else, right? But they were ill-equipped to deal with the kid, and you filling that void for them in hopes that if the parents get their stuff together and you send them back a better person than when you got them.
Wow.
That's what it's about. So
and now they know what it looks like.
Now they know.
It's going to be a little bit harder to undo.
Yes.
Because they know what it is, and they probably get to hold on to that a whole lot more.
Exactly. It's just, so I have this philosophy, if you will. You change one, you change many. That's my life, right? So, and to explain that, if you change, for instance, these 3 kids, if you change the youngest one's life, his perspective, his upbringing, he's going from damaged child to whole child. So now when he has a wife and have kids, those kids will be changed from the experience he had with us.
Absolutely.
Those kids will have the experience that he had with us, and it's going to spread.
Yeah,
so
you talking about spreading? It's going to spread laterally too.
Exactly,
because you talked about that exposure. I've had exposure with just seeing other fathers, and
that's it, man.
Taking in that today, like it changed me as a person. Yeah, and it's changing me as a father. Like I even in college, I had a roommate, and his father, Mr. Bailey, I call him Dad and stuff. He is the affectionate father that I always wanted, and even getting a hug from him the first time.
Yeah, man.
I felt like I was gonna cry.
Yeah.
Just getting, and he knows, what up, boy? You know what I'm saying? Just getting that hug, and every time he has 3 boys, and every time I watch how he interacts with them, it's a tool that I'm putting in my body.
Yeah.
Anytime my son now, they want to hug, they want to be close, I hug them. I'm close with them. And I'm watching other relationships in the past with father to son or father to daughter, and it spreads.
Yeah, man. And we as men need affection. Hands down, we need affection. We need confirmation of our manhood, who we are as men. I'm telling you, my dad, this dude, man, he taught me how to work on cars. I fixed my first lawnmower, small engine, at 9 years old.
Wow.
9.
Wow.
This is no joke. His friend tried to fix it himself.
Yeah.
A push lawnmower. Brought the lawnmower to my dad's house, our house, in a box. My dad said, "My son can fix that, man." And he said, "If you fix that in 2 hours, I give you half the money." That's the first time I got paid. I just said, "Dad," because I watched my dad do it, right? So I put this engine together, and my dad filled it with gas, and he poured it. I lived the first time.
There we go.
I'm like, there you go. My dad, I was like 9 years old, so this was, again, tell my age, 1979, bro. 1979, my dad put $4 in my pocket. I'm like, oh, this is great. This is great. So, small engines, construction, plumbing, electrical, tile work, painting. I can do it, bro.
With your hands.
Anything with your hands, he taught me how to do, right? That emotional side, bro, he didn't have it. So he couldn't give it.
So you couldn't put it in your tube. He didn't have it to give to you.
He didn't have it to give. You know, so when I realized that, okay, the brother he did outstanding. Now I'm more respected. He did outstanding. More to the story. He did outstanding because this brother, this is true fatherhood. And I might cry. I'm not anyway. So true fatherhood, bro.
You cry, I'm gonna cry.
True fatherhood looks like this. My dad drank a lot. So he kind of pushed my mom into somebody else's arms. That's how I was conceived, right? In most situations, that would have tore a family apart. My dad met with my biological father, real men, had the conversation. I'm going to raise this boy like he's mine. If you want to contribute to him and see him, that's fine. But from this day on, that boy is mine. He's never said no that you his father. Dude, I didn't find this out until I was in my 30s, bro. I was 30-something years old at my biological dad's bedside in the hospital because he thought he was not doing well. I was home for Christmas. My mom told me he was in the hospital. I'm like, I guess I'll go talk to this dude.
Yeah.
Because we had never really had a conversation. Never had a real conversation. And he spilled all the beans, man. He told me how they sat down, how they talked about it, everything. So he would send money for school, money for clothes and stuff like that. And my mom would take me and my brother to his house probably once a month, right? And I never really understood. I just,
Who did you think he was then?
Well, I knew he was a family friend. He went to the same church, that kind of thing. So I'm thinking, it's Carolina, man. You go visit people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's all the time.
You know what I'm saying? So we visiting, and then before we left, they would always come in the room, and he would ask me those questions. How was school? How you doing this? He was asking those questions that I needed to,
Yeah, filling in the blank.
Yeah, just catching up. And I just never thought anything about it.
Yeah.
Looking back, he never asked my brother, but
He always asked you.
always asked me. So we having this dialogue, man, and I'm like, really, man? I'm like, so again, a whole different level of respect.
Right.
For the dad that I thought was imperfect. Was actually perfect.
Doing everything that he could.
He did everything he could to hold down his family, to keep his wife, and then treated me, in my opinion, better than my brother.
That's powerful.
You know what I'm saying? So that,
man.
dude, that's manhood. That's father figure right there. Because I'm like, man, if that happened today, bro, you know what I'm saying?
It's a hard conversation. And that's, we can have a whole nother conversation about marriage and relationships with people and fatherhood. And it's just the level of commitment that you have to have to people.
Yeah.
Just point blank, we could just say, to people, you have to be prepared for it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's based on the relationship that you might have had with somebody else, either not having somebody committed to you ever, and maybe you now want to commit to somebody, or having seen commitment before.
Yeah.
Now you know you want to commit to somebody in the right way, but that is not an easy position to be in.
No, bro, no.
Now you got to see all these years past. You're like almost 30 now at the bedside, learning so much about two people that you probably thought you had a good idea of, understood and knew. It puts together the pieces, and I'm still searching for those pieces for my dad.
Yeah.
I still want to talk to some of his friends. I still want to have the conversations because I still feel like there's so much I didn't know because he didn't release.
Yeah.
You know,
Hard,
man. Just hard.
For no reason.
He didn't have to say much. He told me to do something, I was going to do it.
Yeah.
But I want to know, what is it that he was missing?
Let
him to do and say these things, and is he still searching for answers? Because he had a hard upbringing too. I mean, he was in Liberia. They were coming long Civil War. My dad lost a lot of family in the Civil War. Some horrendous ways. Some he doesn't know. Some he can't speak about without crying. Some I can't speak about without crying. But I still never got a chance to meet my grandfather, and I don't know the relationship that my dad had with his dad. And I think it's important to be able to have these conversations, to be able to know how to have them. And the other part is not be afraid to have them. Because fear, a lot of times, is what's holding us back with doing it. And with that fear, you can't even move forward. You can't even learn anything. You can't impart it. You can't put a tool in somebody else's box. You don't have to grow up with that tool.
Right.
You can learn it. You can be exposed. You can be exposed to it, and you can move it on and still be able to give it to somebody else. Because that's what I'm trying to do now. That's what you did.
Yeah.
But fear holds us back a lot of times.
I agree. You know what's the thing about the tools? Sometimes you need a tool, don't know you need it until you find it. You know what I'm saying? That's some deep stuff right there.
That was really. I can't tell you how many I've been in that position in real life and just trying to work on something.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of like my situation. My dad's like, okay, I'm gonna take this boy as my own. He had to find the tool to have the courage to say, I'm gonna do this.
Yes.
Because he wasn't brought up like that. You know, my dad left home at 10, 11, 12, because his dad was crazy. His dad was crazy. Check this out. My grandfather made my dad and his brothers quit school at 3rd, 4th grade level to go work in the field to pay for the oldest daughter's college. You know what I'm saying? So
that's very different.
So when you take a man who that was the way his father treated him, didn't get love, didn't get affection, had a favorite in the house, all this other stuff. I left home at 11, 12 years old, ran away to save my older brother who was just joined the military, just to get away from my crazy dad.
Right.
You can't expect that brother to have what he needs to be a whole father, not even a whole man.
Missing a lot.
He missed a lot, bro. So for him to step up, to hold things down, and do the things he did, I salute you, bro. Now, and then he explains, now I know why you drank.
Right.
Woo! Now I know why you drink, because you trying to deal with all those troubles that you can't talk about because of fear, right? You can't talk to your stick man. You can't even talk to your brother about it. Who
the kids that's there because they don't understand.
They don't understand. So you got all this stuff up in you, all this damage, and the only thing you know how to do to cope is to have a Miller Lite. So in his case, was drink Canadian Mist, poison, and that's just
Canadian Mist, boy.
so and that's what he was. That's what he did on the weekends, right? So and now as a grown man, I'm like, I get it, pops. And here's the thing, I call him pops because when I found out the story of him not being my dad at 15, 16, this was funny. I'm telling you all these stories. I'm getting out of the shower. You know, I'm 16, summer day. I'm trying to put my little clothes on and hit these streets, right? Yeah, I'm trying to get ready to hit these streets, right?
Yeah.
I come out of the shower and my mom is in the house, again, from age, watching Donahue.
I'm still happy that I'm knowing what you're talking about. We had a conversation with Dixie. We had a conversation about I'm still
she watching Donahue. And I'm looking like, what's up, Mom? You know, the telephone went around like she got some bad news. She just, I'm like, what's going on? Yeah, it's like, like she had just hung up with somebody. And the conversation on the TV was about if your parent wasn't your parent, would you want to know? And these kids are finding out that their parents are not their parents or whatever the case may be, right? And it tore her heart up, bro, because she been dealing with this for 16 years. Not got me in the dark, whatever. And she asked me what I want to know. I'm like, yeah. I'm still in my towel, bro.
And she's talking to you as if this is like hypothetical.
Hypothetical. And I'm like, yeah, I want to know. And she just said, RB is not your dad. Because she didn't know how to put anyone in the other way. Right? RB is not your dad. And I'm like, I don't care what you say. Because that's my daddy.
That's my daddy.
He taught me how to do that, and I went down the list. He's showing me, he's the only man I know. He's shown me everything I know how to be a man.
Right.
That's my dad.
That's my daddy.
And she broke down because that's what she wanted, but I mean, it was like...
She didn't know it was going to work out like that either.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is, this is news to me.
Right.
Granted. But at the end of the day, RB is my dad. So I went from calling him dad to pops. Because my level of respect for him changed.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not just my father, my dad. Man, you my pops. You my man. You my man.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So we had a different, from that point, man, we had a different relationship. From that point to now, I see you in a whole different light. Were you still dropping the ball? Yes. But dude.
You didn't have to be perfect, though.
I thought, literally in that moment, man, I'm thinking, it took me maybe 60 seconds to respond to my mom. Right? Maybe 60 seconds. So I'm thinking, this bro didn't taught me everything I know.
Like, how? How? You just...
Yeah. So I'm like, he's done too much for me at this point in my life to say, oh, he's not my father? I didn't ask who my father was. I didn't care. Because I had one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I found out later in the week who my dad was, my biological father was. But even then, that wasn't a surprise. Because I move and act just like that dude. And I always had like a drawing. I would see him, I'm like, I would just watch.
That's powerful too.
I would just watch him, man. I'm like,
that's powerful.
And here's the scary thing. In the house, the time I went to the hospital and we had the conversations, right? The nurse comes in. You're in the hospital. You by the bedroom, the hospital bedside, and you have the sink and all the stuff in the mirror right there. I'm by the window, right? And we're talking or whatever. And I was about to leave, and the nurse comes in and she says, "This must be your father."
Wow. Not knowing any of the past, know nothing.
Dude, I looked at that dude. He looked at me.
Wow.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, nah. And I looked in the mirror. I'm like, damn, look just like him. I said, yep, this is my father. Wow. This is my father. That's the first time I actually said that. I'm like, man, yeah, this is my father. Yep, this is my father.
Let me ask you something. Because you have seen many different levels of parenting. Mm-hmm. You've seen different roles in fatherhood, and you are also doing different roles in fatherhood. What would you say would be your biggest fear or what was your biggest fear in parenting and bringing up your daughter and now bringing up these three boys?
I think that's a good question. I think my biggest fear was, I'm gonna take it by age. Let's do that. Can I do that?
Yeah, please.
So, newborn to toddler was not even the toddler. Newborn to 2, my baby died. Doing something stupid, crossing medications up, whatever, kill my own kid. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
SIDS, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. That was like top of mind aware, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like an anxiety.
That was like, oh my God. Yeah.
I'm there right now.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So toddler to probably 10 to preteen, losing my child, kid being kidnapped. Major fear, right? Like, to the point, like I told you earlier, you step where I step, right? When we were out and about, malls, whatever, it was to the point, this is the story, if I can't see you, I can't protect you, right? And if it was too busy, put your hand in my pocket. Put your hand in my pocket. And then preteen to high school, college, don't have a daughter, don't get pregnant. Rape, kidnapping, all the things, the things I can't control. Because you can always control your house, but things outside of your house you can't. So, my mom told me a long time ago, I put good stuff in you, now I gotta let you go. Right? Yeah. So, and that's what it's about. When my daughter was age of driving, I know the dirt I did. I know the dirt I did, right? So I'm trusting my daughter. I'm like, and I gave her all the tidbits and da 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 da. I'm like, now I gotta trust and believe what I put in you will flourish, and you won't be doing anything too crazy, right?
You said too crazy because they still, a lot of people, they gotta find out.
They're gonna do. Kids are always gonna do. Yeah. And I used to tell my daughter all the time, I hope I'm answering your question.
No, you spot on.
You're going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Just make sure the mistake you make is not lifelong, right? Meaning, don't get knocked up by no stranger, some knucklehead.
Right.
Don't try some drugs going to alter your mental state.
That you can't go back.
You can't go back, things of that nature. So she's done well. And I'm scared to pat myself on the back. You know what I'm saying?
Why?
Because she's only 25.
Gotcha.
And she can be 45, she's still gonna be my baby. You know what I'm saying? So, and life is life.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So it can smack you in the mouth before you know it. Woo. So it's like, you know what? You're 25, no major mistakes. I'm proud of the woman you become, but I'm not gonna pat myself on the back yet because you're still too young.
Yeah.
I
felt every single one of those, and now I'm gonna keep those in mind because I'm pretty sure that's how it's gonna go for me too. And I've been there. with my own kids because I got toddlers and 4 or 5, and you just laying by the bedside. Every once in a while, you go up to the bed and you want to see them breathe. You want to hear them breathe. You never know.
I'm gonna tell you what's funny, bro, about that. I used to, I was a stay at home dad for 5 years when I was life. This is my transition of getting out of the military or whatever. But even when she was 9, 10, 12, 16, even today, I did this 2 days ago. I would go lay across her when she's in the bed, right? Because she's back home with us. So I just go lay across her, right? And I just want to feel her breathe, and I lay on a little bit, we'll say some little dumb stuff, and before I get up, I'll shake her real hard, and I get up, And
they don't even know. They just think you play.
But see, here's the thing. I told her, there's going to be a day when you're going to miss your dad laying across you, right? And flip side of that, she used to come and lay on my back as a kid. I'd be laying on the floor, laying on my bed or whatever, and she just come and lay, laying right on my back, right? And she just sit there and be chilling, watching TV or whatever, and that was great. And now that she's 25, guess who's missing stuff?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because time went like
that. Yeah. You hear that a lot.
It goes quick, bro.
Sure you heard that so many times younger, and it's kind of hard to conceptualize how fast it goes.
It goes really real quick, man. But I still take advantage of. Oh, you home? You taking a nap? I'm laying on you and just feel your body, and and she loves it. She won't say it, but she.
And you don't know how much you miss it until it's gone.
Yeah.
I appreciate every single word in this conversation today.
Ditto, man. Ditto.
I gained so much from this conversation, and I already feel like a better father and a better person, a better man. And I know that our audience is going to get so much from this, and this is exactly what we need. We need a lot more.
I love it.
Of this, and if we as men only understood the level that we are expected to be, and the things that we need in order to fulfill those levels that we need to be at was just this right here, I think we do a whole lot more. It feels good.
I mean, being a man is pressure. Being a man is pressure, and women have no idea. Especially for a man who is involved in the family. If you are a man who not just provides but shows up, you putting your hands on your kids every day. You help them with dinner. You help them with bedtime. You help them with the things that matter the most. Women have no idea how much pressure that is to come from job, through traffic, get home, and still have the mindset of leaving the dumbness of work to come home, kiss the wife, and be loving, and deal with the kids loving, go to sports events or whatever the case may be. If you're going to, acrobats, whatever you're doing with your kids, take them to the park or whatever. Still doing dinner time, still doing bedtime.
And dude, the husband and
it's huge. Now, this is not negate what the woman, the wife, and the mother does, because that's irreplaceable. Every man would say, sports events or whatever, hi mom, it's always hi mom, never hi dad. Right? And here's the thing I learned about dads. Being a good dad is this. It's not about recognition. It's not about being liked. It's about doing your job. Right? And if you do your job, oftentimes you're not liked. Right? It's kind of like a boxer's coach. A boxer's coach is an asshole, pushes me too hard, never appreciate it until a boxer's in the ring and gets punched for the first time. Then it's like, oh, snap. Now the technique that the coach taught you, now it's paying off. Hold your guard up, bro. Bob and weave. Move your feet. All those things that you, as a father, preached and put into their kids. Now it comes to reality. Now, oh, this is what dad told me. This is what, I had a great dad. My dad's the bomb. Because now I'm not getting I'm not getting knocked out.
Hey, man.
He prepared me. My dad was preparing me. I didn't even see it.
Mr. Rob, thank you.
My man.
I appreciate it.
All right, man.
It's fertilizing father right there. Here for the dads.